Do, 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 do. Oh yeah, we're live. We're just waiting for our speaker to come on. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay. He's gonna come on. Hey, hey, hey. Hold on, I'm fixing to get anonymous Rise to Recovery on here. Y'all excuse me. All right.
Hi, Kathy. Can you see me?
I can hardly hear you there. All right, let's try that again. I'm not seeing your face. There we go. How are you? Very good.
I'm good. How are you, sweetie?
I am doing
How you
very well.
doing?
I'm doing very well. Keep in mind, I don't have on my regular glasses, and so
Okay.
I'm gonna have a hard time seeing you. But
That's all right. I don't have my glasses on either.
so hey, my name's Kathy. I'm an alcoholic. Today
Kathy.
we have a very special guest, or I have a very special guest. First, I'm gonna give you a little disclosure, and I'm not at home, so I don't have my reading in front of me. So I'm just gonna go off memory, and it is I am not associated with any group and or affiliation. This is solely my opinion on my opinion on things and what I do, which are facts, to stay sober. There's going to be cussing. There may be some crying. There may be a lot of laughing, but it's proof we do recover. So, Sheldon, please tell them what we're in for, because I'm so excited about your story.
Well, today, guys, we're going to be talking about my story, my struggle with addiction, and my journey through recovery, and what that's looked like for this addict. I also support Kathy and her disclosure. I'm not here to support or promote any one specific 12-step program of recovery, as well as what we talk about today is not to promote our platform using any specific program of recovery. Now, these are just our stories and our journeys through alcoholism or addiction. And again, we're not here to promote those 12-step programs, and they're not here to promote our platforms. We're just here strictly to talk about the struggle with addiction or alcoholism and our journey through recovery, and how we have turned our life around from misery and hopelessness to purpose and hopefulness.
Yes, and you said something the other day, Sheldon, from a dope fiend to a hope fiend.
Oh, yeah. That's what I liked. So I was a live to use, and I used to live hope to die dope fiend, and today I'm a live for hope and hope to live recovering addict.
See, that right there is what it's all about. I mean, just stories whenever you reached out, and we met on TikTok. Sheldon, Sheldon's from Utah.
That's right.
He is starting his podcast, which I'm pushing for him. He's the few times that we have talked, because anybody that knows me knows I stay super busy. You know, I have a full-time job. I have another job doing part-time gigs at concerts. I'm big in the giving back and doing service work. I have had to cut my podcast a little just because of time. I'm having a very, very hard time with, managing things. I did take the day off and come up here to the mountains, but, we're here and we're doing it. And Sheldon has really, he sent me his story via email, And as I was reading it was just pulling my heartstrings. And I was like, man, and some of the things about, living for hope. And it made me think, you know what? He needs to tell people about his story. And y'all listen, because this story is incredible. I've read it, but please, y'all listen. Go like, share, subscribe. Go subscribe to his page. Go like his page. All right, I'm gonna stay quiet. You just go ahead, Sheldon.
Okay. Well, what do you want to ask me first, Kathy?
Well, I want to ask, when did your story start? I know that you had said that you had a bad injury whenever you were young.
Yeah.
And that you kind of used, anything you could to make you not feel the way you felt.
Yes, absolutely.
Any substance.
I was a type of addict that would use any chemical or substance to change to get outside of myself, to escape what was going on up here, the loud noise that was up here, all that negative self-talk and all that just ugly, disgusting energy I felt inside of here, right? As Kathy mentioned, I suffered a right hand amputee at the age of 4, and growing up in early 90s. I grew up in the 90s and the 2000s, and going through school, like elementary, middle school. I mean, kids were just mean. I looked different from them, and they didn't know how to. I mean, kids are just going to be kids. They didn't know how to react to that. They didn't know how to adjust to that. And I was picked on and bullied a lot, right? And I mean, things were said to me, like there's one time on the playground I'll never forget. A group of kids were running around playing tag out in the field, right? And so I went out there and I was like, hey, I ran up to him. I says, hey, I want to play, because I just want to fit in, right? I just want to be heard. I want to be a part of. And I ran up to him and I was like, hey, I want to play. And they're like, yeah, you can play, but you got to be it because you have 7 fingers and you're a freak. And that whole sentence of what was said just ingrained itself into my brain and into my soul. And when I was in elementary, I think I was in like kindergarten at this time.
Right. God,
and there was other things like that were being said to me as I was growing up before the age of 9 that I just allowed those things, those external things, to become my internal beliefs about self. And I mean, by the age of 9, I was carrying so much anger, so much shame towards myself for how I looked, so much rage, and so much depression. There was so much weight that no 9-year-old at that age should ever have to carry.
I was going to say, a 9-year-old, that's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, the reason why I say 9 years old, because at the age of 9, and when I was in 4th grade, I was hanging out with my older brother and his friends. See, I grew up in when both parents were at work in the summertime and the older siblings were in charge of you while mom and dad were gone. I grew up drinking off the water hose. I grew up riding the truck with mom and dad who were smokers, and they just had the window cracked just enough for the smoke to go out. Like, I grew up riding BMX bikes in the neighborhood all across town and drinking off the water hose. That's when I grew up, right? And so my mom and dad were at work. Older brother was in charge, and I remember coming home with a bunch of neighborhood kids that were my age, and we went in the backyard, and that's where my older brother was with his friends, and we went out there, and I'm like, well, what are you guys doing? I mean, at this point, I look up to my older brother. I idolized him. I wanted to be like him. I thought he was just the coolest thing ever. And they were passing this thing around in a circle, right? And when it got to me, I looked at him, and he wasn't stopping me, and so I took a hit, and it was marijuana. And in that moment, that first hit of marijuana, it completely changed the way I felt about myself, right? Like, for the first time since the age of 4 to 9 years old, that summer in 4th grade, I no longer was angry. I was no longer depressed. I was no longer full of rage. I was no longer shaming myself. I felt like this blanket of security had wrapped around me, and I felt invincible in a way. Like I couldn't be hurt by the mean things that people were saying. I was no longer hurting myself emotionally or mentally, and of course, anybody that's ever had experience with pot, like I was laughing my ass off, and all of a sudden I'm hungry and I just want to eat, and I'm laughing and I can't stop laughing at all the stupid, dumb stuff that was going on around me. Everything was just funny, and it was like for the first time in my life, I felt like I fit in somewhere. I felt like I could be myself and not be judged. I could be myself and not beat myself up for what belief system I adopted about myself or the way I looked. And from that point on, it was just on and crack, and it was over. It was over after that. I had no idea at the age of 9 the can of worms that I had opened or was getting myself into. I had no idea that I was an addict and that my disease was lying dormant, waiting to be awakened. And
Right.
and then I'm not going to go too much into like the because this is about a message of hope, right? Like we all know what
Right.
the disease of addiction or alcoholism does to our life. We all know how dark it is, how isolating it is, cold and scary it gets being out there in active addiction or alcoholism. I'm going to talk about that a little bit, but not too much. And from that moment on to age of 9, the progression of the disease of addiction just took over, right? I quickly graduated from smoking pot to huffing gas at a young age. Like, I'd be what you call a tabletop user. Whatever is on the table and it was going to change the way I feel, I'm going to put it in my body so I can escape self, so I can run from myself, right? So I can run from my feelings, so I can run from my trauma. I learned very quickly at a young age that and this is what I believed at the time is this is the solution to my pain to cope with, right? And both my parents weren't addicts, right? Both my parents were good parents. I was raised in a good home, and they did the best that they could by me. My mom, bless her heart, tried to heal wounds that she didn't cut or create herself, and unfortunately, she just wasn't able to heal those wounds. Hell, one time, Kathy, I was at a friend's house and we couldn't get any pot. And there's these cats running around and they're eating this flowery looking shit and this green leafy stuff. And they're getting all fucked up running around. And I'm like, well, whatever they're doing, I want some of that if it's getting them high. I think I was in like 3rd grade. I tried smoking catnip. Or no, not 3rd grade. I think I was in like 5th grade, maybe 6th grade. I tried smoking catnip thinking it was going to change the way I feel. And I laugh at that now because, it's just funny. It's funny. It's just funny.
That's new, and you didn't tell me that. That is hilarious.
But ultimately, what that is that's the progression of the disease, ways and means to get more, right?
Yeah.
So that was a one-time experiment. That didn't work. It left me with like a gnarly fucking headache. And my friends laughed at me. We got a good laugh out of it, right? I grew up just trying to fit in wherever I could fit in, and
Get in where you fit in.
Yeah, I didn't really fit in too much with the cool popular kids, even though I wanted to really bad. Again, just still a lot of you look different, making fun of me the way I looked because of my hand. And then I found a rougher crowd of kids that were like the skaters and the loners, the kids that were going through some type of, I don't know what was going on in their home life, but there was something going on with them, whether it was some type of depression or anger, they just didn't fit in with the norm of society or the norm of things that, or the regular crowd in school. And so I started hanging out with them and, I can get pot here hanging out with these kids. I know this changes the way I feel. And between the age of 9 to later on in middle school, my mom and dad tried to get me help with counseling and therapy, and I refused any help at all times. I didn't want nothing to do with it. I felt really alone, like nobody understands how angry and depressed I am inside. And like you don't get what's going on in here, so I can't relate to you, and you're not able to relate to me, so I don't want to hear what you have to say. Um, and
Right.
really, what I ended up doing was neglecting my inner child and my inner child's healing process. I didn't let when I was a child, I didn't allow myself to have a voice when it comes to feeling hurt or feeling feeling disconnected from just kids my age. And
And
like I said, I
just
found it.
overall, you just felt alone.
Yeah, yeah,
I feel that. I feel that. And, going through something traumatic at a young age, yeah, definitely, you know. And some people, they'll ask, what's your DOC? And some people just say more,
yeah. That was
more.
it. More. I mean, if I had, we'll get to this later on, but if I had money to spend, if I had money to spend, I'm spending on meth, alcohol, marijuana. Those are my go-tos if I had money in my pocket. But ultimately, my DOC was more, and whatever is going to change the way I feel about self, right? Um,
Right.
And so, like, I'm already suffering from abandonment issues. My biological father, when he found out my mom was pregnant with me, he told her that he didn't want another kid, that she needed to have an abortion. And my mom left him before I was born, and I'm so grateful for that. And I grew up without a father that wasn't present in my life, but wanted to be present in my older brother's life, and it was the same dad, right? And that left me with a big giant hole of, why am I unlovable? Why am I not wanted? What's wrong with me? I know and then it just compounded those feelings of unlovable because of the way I look, because of my accident and other things, right? And my mom never interfered when the few times that she did let me have any interaction with him. She didn't interfere with that. She tried to be supportive of it, but she knew there was nothing coming from the other end of that. There was nothing going to be received well or returned back from that other person. So ultimately, she was just trying to protect me, right? And after the accident, before age 9, like, I remember one time my biological father, his name's Greg, he was coming to pick up my older brother for visitation. And I went outside with my older brother, and I was like, hey, I want to come with you too, Dad. Can I go? And he's like, yeah, go ask your mom, make sure it's okay. So I go to walk back in the house to go ask my mom if it's okay if I go with my older brother Tyson and the person I called Dad at the time, Greg. And as soon as my back was turned and I was walking towards the house, they pulled off in the car and took off. And that's where those feelings of abandonment and just unlovable, right? So fast forward, I'm in middle school. I finally find a crowd of kids that don't judge me for the way I look. And when I think back now, like, I can see that, like, each one of us had something broken inside of us, that we were just looking somewhere we could fit in, and we were looking to change the way we felt about ourselves any way possible. And these kids were smoking pot. It got me access to a substance that was going to change the way I felt. And so ultimately, I would do anything I had to gain their approval or acceptance. And then, whether that was, riding my skateboard through the halls of middle school and sloughing school and causing problems just to get their attention, or thinking that would get me more friends, or because that's what they were doing. And then, as I got older, the group of friends started changing, right? And when I got to high school, between middle school and high school, I was introduced to meth. And oh my gosh, that's when everything changed. I had all this energy. I was like, oh, I could do all these things. I'm fast as fuck, boy. Watch me go, And there's that part. And then, like, again, there's that another level of changing the way I felt. So I didn't have to feel what I've been feeling this whole time, right? And
Right.
the progression of the disease doesn't care how old you are, what your life looks like, or who your parents are in the family or the home that you're raised in. I got to high school and I started hanging out with homeboys on the block and a lot of gangbangers growing up. And, They taught me how to commit crimes faster and smoother so I didn't get caught. They taught me how to do hardcore drugs, how to make them last longer and to get them for cheaper. They taught me how to make money with those kinds of things. And then I started, and like the whole time, so my whole juvenile existence, I spent 90% incarcerated in the juvenile system, whether it was DT, a group home, Proctor homes. I did 13 months in a boot camp out in Yerington, Nevada. And all because I didn't want to conform to society. Again, all these people are trying to help me in my healing process. And it wasn't until I wanted to start my healing process, so I was ready to start doing something different, that I was able to start doing something different, right? And it's just like in the rooms today, like whether you have a sponsee or a family member or a loved one, like a partner, wife, husband, whatever, right? We can want the best for them all day that we want, and we can teach them program or love and acceptance, but it's like until they're ready, all we can do is just be there to support them. We can't force them to do anything, right? And so it didn't matter if it was the judge or my parents, my PO as a teenager, like all these people, all these outside external things were trying to get me to work on me and my healing process and my substance abuse disorder. So I would ultimately like quit getting kicked out of school and committing crimes, right? And none of that changed until I was 34.
You did have a interesting when something's higher. Well, let's just say when something stepped in, you had a plan.
Yes.
You had a plan.
Who's that? Dave. I can't read the rest of it, but Dave, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. So fast forward, right? Go through high school, hanging out with homeboys and all that stuff, and just smoking weed, doing meth, learning how to sell drugs, right? And going through the juvenile system. I was only 18 for maybe 9 months before I ended up getting locked up in going into the adult system. And again, it's just a progression of the disease. It's a progression of that lifestyle, finding ways and means to get more, right? Ultimately just burning my life down, just trying to find anything out there to change the way I felt, whether it was adrenaline rush from committing crimes or putting a chemical in my body to change the way I felt, right? So back, like I said, I was in like the end of middle school, almost high school. I tried meth for the first time. And then I got locked up and went to that boot camp I told you about, and I was there for 13 months. And while I was there, my mom ended up in the ICU. She's no longer with us today. And I lost my mom at the age of 17. And when I got out, my whole world was flipped upside down. When I came home, I didn't want to be at home because every day I came home from school, she wasn't there. And so I moved out real early at a young age. And more or less, my family that was home, so I was raised by another man, my stepdad, and I'm grateful for those years of my life that he was there. When I should have been at home supporting him as he just lost his wife and his best friend of 11 years, and so helping supporting him raise my nephew, I was being selfish and only thought about me and my needs to be met. And to meet those needs, it was not staying at home because I couldn't stand coming home and my mother not being there. It was just too heartbreaking.
All right.
And that's when I really went off the deep end with drugs. Like I was still smoking pot. I was drinking a little bit, nothing crazy. But that's like where I really went off the deep end with meth, right? And I'd say by the age of 23, I was homeless in northern Utah, flagging signs on the side of the freeway for extra money just for money. I didn't, not extra money, just money, period. Because if I can get somebody to feel sorry for me as I'm holding up the sign saying I'm hungry, because I was so hopeless and so helpless that I couldn't pull my head out of my ass to quit using, and I couldn't even get a job. And so holding up this sign saying I'm hungry, hoping someone will feel bad for me and give me a couple of dollars or whatever. And that was the most degrading part of my life, was doing that. When I'd see a group of men getting off of work in a work truck, and the way they'd look at me, it was so degrading as a man. And I would get up just enough money to go buy another bag of dope to get high. Sometimes I'd get, a good little bit amount of money, and it's wintertime in northern Utah. You think that I would get a hotel room for a couple days to get off the streets of northern Utah, because when it's winter up there, it's fucking cold and it snows. And you think I would have spent that money on getting a hotel room to get off the streets for a couple nights, have a warm shower and a warm bed to sleep in. No, I bought a big bag of dope, and I maybe had enough money left over for one night in a hotel room. And one night, guaranteed I wasn't sleeping in that bed. And that's what my life looked like for 7 years. And I was finally able to stop that, right? And I really didn't even stop. Like, all I did was substitute one for another. I quit the hardcore meth and stayed smoking weed. Ultimately because of my my addiction and my behaviors. And I was just so angry at the world at this point in my life that I just wanted to watch the world catch on fire and everyone in it burned, Kathy. I was that angry, and it didn't matter if I knew you or not. Like, I just wanted to see the world catch on fire. I was that angry inside. And I had 3 failed marriages on my part. Those women did the best that they could to love me and help me heal wounds that they didn't create. And I had 3 failed marriages because of my addiction, because I chose chemicals and substances over them every time. And don't get me wrong, there was points throughout those periods that I wanted to stop. I just didn't know how. All I knew how was to get high to change the way I felt. I knew how to get high and survive. I knew how to sell drugs, and that's just the way I was living for so long. It wasn't until the age of 34. Granted, I've had 3 beautiful daughters out of those experiences. 3 wonderful, beautiful daughters out of those experiences. And so we're fast forward. I'm at the age of 34. And this is like the turning point in my life, you guys. I'm at the age of 34. And I'm sitting there, and I got a bag in one hand and the tool and the lighter in the other. And I'm looking at these objects, and I'm crying because I can't keep going on living like this. I can't keep doing this. I want to stop. I don't know how. I'm an empty shell of a man. I'm not good to myself at this point. I'm not being a good provider. Yeah, I'm showing up for my kids, but I'm emotionally and mentally checked out. And I'm always in and out of the bedroom, needing to get more. Just, you know what I mean? I just was a worthless piece of existence, a piece of flesh on this earth at this point in my life.
And that's really for us that have
Go ahead.
addiction problems. That's really hard for us that have addiction problems, just to say those words, to say, you know what, I was worthless. I was not bringing anything to anybody's life other than I was doing for me. You know, my disease had me, I was its bitch, you know? And that's really, you know, that is hard. That is so hard to follow at times. And people don't understand how that shit gets you around your throat and it chokes you out.
Mm-hmm.
You know? It
Mhm.
does.
I want to shout out to Kimmy, who just logged in with us. Thank you, Kimmy, for logging in. Much love. Thank you for supporting the live right now. No, it does. It gets you by the throat. For me, how I like to identify that for me is that my addiction told me when I could eat, when I could sleep, when I could shit, when I could show up, when I couldn't show up, when I was allowed to feel, when I wasn't allowed to feel. My disease drove the car, and when I say the car, it means me. I'm the car, and my disease drove the car and told me where to go, and it took me where it wanted to go, not where I wanted to go or when I wanted to stop. And and there were times before this turning point that I've tried to quit, Kathy, and kicking methamphetamines cold turkey on the couch at home fucking sucks. It is miserable. I was miserable and an asshole, not to myself, but just to my partner. And she was trying to kick it at the same time too. And I mean, we were just both shitty to each other, right? And I was sitting on the couch, and thank God I didn't ever struggle with heroin. Like, I've tried it, but I've seen the way people withdraw off heroin, and man, you guys are truly the stronger ones who can get off heroin and stay clean or sober and in recovery from that, because that shit's a demon itself. I remember sitting on the couch and I'm fighting every urge not to call my dealer. I'm fighting, and like I got these cravings going on, and they're just so strong. They're like mouth-watering strong. And I'm sitting on their couch, and the best way I could describe this moment, it was like I had this little tiny gremlin, dude, inside of me, like this big, right inside of me in here, and it was my demon, and it wanted to be fed, and it was hungry, and I was telling it no the best that I could with what little strength I had. And this little demon had these sharp claws and teeth, and it was doing everything it could to claw its way out from the inside out. And it was like, if you ever seen the movie Alien,
Yeah.
if you think of the movie Alien, how they plant that little alien inside their mouth, right? And then it grows, and then it breaks out of their chest, and there leaves a big old chest cavity, right? Yeah, well, that's what it felt like. Was my disease of addiction was trying to crawl out of my skin to get what it wants, so it could do what it wants to do. And I wasn't working in a program of recovery. I wasn't plugged into a recovery community. I wasn't going to meetings. I didn't have a sponsor. I was working what I like to call Sheldon's program of 12 Steps Anonymous. I was Sheldon's sponsor. I was Sheldon's higher power.
Cafeteria style.
Huh?
You were trying to do cafeteria style. Just take a little of this, take a little of that, do whatever, your way.
I mean, I caved in. I could only take it for so long before I couldn't do it anymore. And then, of course, I went and fed that demon so it would stop trying to eat me alive. And I mean, there was one point, Kathy, like, I thought that I could manage responsibly. I thought I could use responsibly. Like, I can't keep smoking meth because I can't hold down a job. I never shown up to work because I'm always too busy in the closet getting high, or never. When I sleep for 3 days at a time, and so I'm never showing up to work. And then I was like, so I can't hold down a job, and if I do, it's maybe 6 months, if that. So I was like, okay, so now I'm going to substitute. I'm going to quit smoking meth. I'm going to substitute for marijuana. I can hold down a job and go to work, and I can manage this. Like, all these other ways haven't worked, but this time this is going to work. This time it's going to be different, right? And man, still struggling to get a job because now I can't pass a drug test because I'm smoking weed and I'm pissing dirty. Like, and because I'm an addict, instead of using my money responsibly to buy a fake bottle of piss to pass a drug test, I'm spending my $20 on another bag of weed, again, to change the way I feel. So, okay, that's not working. So we're going to stop that. Quit smoking meth, quit smoking weed. We're going to stop that. Now we're going to, we're just going to drink now. Well, I was able to get a job then, right? But, now every day I come home from work, I'm drinking these really strong mixed drinks, and I thought I would just have one with dinner. No, I didn't stop at one. I had two and then three before I go to bed. And then next thing you know, I'm getting a DUI on my four-wheeler running from the cops in northern Utah. And so trying to substitute one for another, thinking that I could use responsibly, thinking I could stop when I want to stop, but don't you know, I just don't want to stop, right?
Right.
When all reality, I don't know how to use like a gentleman, and I don't have a stop button. I don't know when to stop when the party's over, because when the party's over and I should have went home a long time ago, I'm still there trying to party. I don't know how to use responsibly. That's just not my DNA. I wasn't built like that. So I backtracked a little bit on you. So back to 34 at this point. I'm looking at these two things. I can't keep going on living like this. And I get this courage, and I get this idea. I get this enough courage and enough strength that I stomp on all the things, all the what's that word? The contraband. We'll call it contraband, right? I stomped on all the contraband and broke it, and I put it in a bag of trash, and I walk it outside, and I'm feeling good. You know, I'm feeling good about myself. Like, I'm finally taking my voice back, and I'm going to take my life back, and I'm feeling good. You know, I'm feeling courageous. I'm feeling strong. And I put all that broken contraband into this bag of trash, and I live in an apartment complex, so there's a big dumpster on the property. And I go walk it to the trash can, and now mind you, Kathy, I this bag of trash with a broken contraband in it, I throw it all the way to the back of the dumpster, so it falls behind a bunch of other trash, right? Because at this point in my life, Kathy, I'm a dope fiend with class. I have standards. You're not gonna catch me jumping in a fucking dumpster, fishing out a bag of dope in a pipe. That's not me. I'm not a junkie. I got standards. And because when I was out there using it, it was a big thing that people were like out dumpster diving behind stores, finding stuff all the time. And they would come back with some pretty cool shit. But again, I'm not gonna go jump in no fucking dumpster. So I throw that stuff in the dumpster, right? And I'm walking away, and I'm telling myself, like, imagine yourself stomping your foot on the ground, being serious. I'm taking my life back. This is it. I'm done letting you control my life. I'm done living like this. Taking my life back, right? And I'm walking away from this dumpster feeling powerful, feeling empowered by what I just did, feeling hopeful. I maybe lasted 10 minutes, maybe 20. I didn't count the time, but it wasn't very long. I was so powerless over my addiction and the substances and chemicals I used to change the way I felt. And my life was so unmanageable that I was right back in that dumpster. I dived in that dumpster that I said I would never dive in. I dived in that dumpster to fish out that broken contraband so I could get one more. And I remember my youngest daughter's mom.
It had you by your throat.
Yeah, it had me by my throat. And at any point in time, Kathy, if anything I'm sharing right now resonates with you or you want to talk about it, don't hesitate to chime in, to interrupt. Let's talk about it. You know what I mean? Let's establish some of the Me Too's for those out there listening or tuning in, right? You're not alone.
We'll talk about me the next time. I'm so excited just to have you sharing. I mean,
well, I appreciate that. Go ahead.
Well, we only have an hour, but we have 20 minutes left of the hour.
Oh,
because
really?
I do want to have it to where we can download it and repost. But I want to hear about your plan and how the judge kind of just stepped in.
Okay, so at this point, I already left Northern Utah, changing my people, places, and things, and the judge didn't step in.
Not the judge, the
my
officer.
That part.
Yes.
So if we got 20 minutes, we're gonna fast forward a little bit, right? Like this point, I already left Northern Utah. I was heading south. I was gonna run out of gas somewhere and detox and camp, and then try to turn my life around. And that was the best plan that this addict could come up with at the time. And I was pulled over on the side of the road trying to send an email to my daughter's mom, and a highway patrolman showed up in the form of my higher power. I just didn't know it at the time. I mean, he walked up to the window. He was like, license and registration. And I just surrendered. That's where surrender took place in my life. I was like, here's the drugs, here's the alcohol. I don't have a license. And I was just tired of running for myself. I was just fucking tired, Kathy.
Retired? Yeah.
I ended up going to jail. And that's where Juab County Jail in Nephi, Utah is where I got my first 30 days clean, right? And they were going to give me 60 days incarceration and 60 days home confinement. Now, mind you, Kathy, at this point, I'm homeless. I don't know where they're going to confine me to, a park bench or a dumpster. I'm homeless. And 60 days confinement, that's nothing. I can do that. I can do 60 days sleeping or standing on my head. That's not a big deal. I told my public defender, I was like, I want to talk to the judge. I want to speak on my behalf. And I told the judge, don't let me out. I have nowhere to go. I have a substance abuse disorder and I need help. I don't want to die and I need help. I want to go to rehab. I was finally ready. And it's just crazy how my higher power lined everything up, right? Like, before this court hearing, my cellie, he's telling me how he's getting ready to get released to go to treatment for the first time. And there was a lot of Me Too's between me and him in our story of active addiction. And then he's like, oh, well, I'm getting ready to get released to this treatment center. Like, of all the pods in that jail and the section I got put in a section specifically in a room with another addict who was on their way to treatment, who was on their road to recovery, right?
Is that odd or is that God?
It's not. It's definitely not odd, Kathy. That's definitely God working. And he gave me their number, and I called them every day. I don't know if you're familiar with what it means to be indigent, but indigent means you have no money on your books. I could only call collect, and that's where they have to answer the phone and pay for the call. I called this treatment day in and day out for like 4 or 5 days straight until I got them to answer the phone, and I begged for them, please come pick me up. If I can get the judge to release me to your program, will you come pick me up? I don't want to die. I don't want to keep getting high. I want to be able to get back to my kids. I can't keep doing this. So the judge released me to that treatment center. It was Matter Behavioral Health in Mount Pleasant, Utah. And I did 90 days in that program. And this, mind you, this is the first thing that this addict's ever completed successfully in his life. And that was, what a powerful feeling that was, to know that I did something honest for the first time in my life, that I completed something successfully in the first time in my life. Because I've done a lot of programs going up, Kathy, and I never completed them. I always got kicked out or terminated.
Right.
So I graduated this program at this time I had 120 days clean, and it was I was faced with the decision, right? I could either go back home and take a chance at recovery in a place I've never done recovery. All I know how to do is sell drugs, do drugs, hang out with gangbangers, and get in trouble, right? But I want to do recovery, so I could take a chance at recovery and have a minimal chance at success. Because I'm too close. Going back home, I'd be back in the same sandbox with the same playmates and the same play toys. Or I was told you could go to Southern Utah. And a friend that I met there in treatment center is my best friend. He told me, if you come down to Southern Utah, he's like, I'll help you get plugged into the recovery community. I'll help you get to meetings. I'll help you get on your feet. And I was scared to come down to Southern Utah because I didn't have no family down here. I had no friends except for him that I met. And at this point, living 25 years of using and abusing, and the people that come along with that lifestyle, like, trust was not something I had or give away very easily to people I don't know, right? And but I knew if I came down here, I could get a fresh start. I don't know where the dope dealer is. I don't know where the blocks are to make money. I don't know where the homeboys are. The only thing I need to worry about is staying away from a liquor store. Because ultimately, no matter where you go, there's a fucking liquor store. And so I came down to Southern Utah to get a fresh start. I don't recommend this to anybody getting out of treatment. when you get out of treatment, before you leave, have an exit plan, where you're going to go, where you're going to be staying, what does your follow-up treatment look like, and where's it going to be at, right? I just was like, at this point, self-willing the next chapter of my life. I just knew I was, in my heart of hearts, I knew I was done getting high and I was ready to start doing something different. I just didn't have a plan put together because I was going to figure it out on my own. Because don't you know who I am? I got 120 days clean and my name's Sheldon and X, Y, and Z, right? And
Right.
and that's just ego talking, right? And I come down to Southern Utah. I called my friend when I was on the shuttle to come down here from Salt Lake, and he's like, "Hey, I'll be there to pick you up when the shuttle gets in." And sure enough, he was there. I didn't have nowhere to go, so I had to check myself into the homeless shelter. And while I was there, he took me to meetings. He helped me find work, and he did what he said he was going to do, and he helped take care of this newcomer. And I don't mean wipe my ass for me, but he led the way and was an example for me with what he was doing in his recovery.
And you know, that's what we do.
That is what we do. We just lead by example, and we pave
That's
the
all
way.
we can do. Exactly. That's all we can do is
It really is.
tell them
And,
our story.
So I was at the homeless shelter for about a month. By this time, I'm working. He talked me into getting into day treatment with the same place that we went to inpatient at, and I was resistant to that because I didn't have insurance and anything. But mind you, both these places, both inpatient and outpatient, they both actually what is it called, sponsored me or scholarshiped me on the terms that I complete successfully, right? And
Right.
So they decided to scholarship me with the outpatient program that they had, and I completed that successfully. I got into sober living, and there was a bunch of dudes at this house that I didn't know, and I had the attitude that I wasn't going to be there very long. How are you going to tell me I have to be home at a certain time when I'm paying rent here and I'm a grown ass man? Still ego talking, right? But what happened for this newcomer? What happened for this newcomer in early recovery was that these other guys that were working a program of recovery showed me what it means to do the next right thing, even if that means coming home on time by curfew, cleaning up after myself, and doing my chores. Like, sober living taught me how to be accountable. It taught me how to clean up after myself. It taught me how to wipe my own ass, and it got me going to meetings, right? And so I started going to meetings with other guys in the house, and we went to Narcotics Anonymous meetings. And I tried AA when I first got down here, and people looked happy and healthy in those meetings, but it wasn't clicking for me. Like, I hadn't found the Me Too's at this point, right? Like,
Right.
I couldn't relate to the alcoholic who was, I get off work and go drink all night at the bar and then come home and neglect my wife. I couldn't relate to that. No, I hung out at the bar and the clubs and partied, but at this time, I didn't hear my story being shared by somebody else in an AA meeting. And, but I'm grateful that those meetings were there because it gave me a safe place for that hour. Right. But I started going to Narcotics Anonymous meetings, and, when I started hearing other dope fiends talking about their struggle with addiction and how their life is getting better through working a 12-step program of recovery, it's what I call, Kathy, flipping the coin over, right? So back in the day, on the back side of the coin, I used to listen to dope fiends, drug dealers, and gangbangers, and how to commit crimes and sell drugs and do drugs, right? And then I found Narcotics Anonymous, and I flipped that coin over, and I listened to those same type of people talking about how to live this new way of life, how to be of service to something or someone other than themselves, so they could be selfless and not selfish, right? It was those same dope fiends and convicts and gangbangers that were talking about how they're working 12 steps with a sponsor and their life is getting better. And once I flipped that coin over and started listening,
Sometimes slowly.
What was that?
I said sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly.
Yeah, we all go at our own pace. That's definitely for sure. We all go at our own pace. It's not a program of perfection. It's a program of progression, you guys. You're going to go at your own pace. Your healing process and that linear timeline that your healing process looks like, that's for you and only you. You know what I mean? Just because somebody else next to you has less time, but already worked 2 rounds of steps, I mean, that's good for them, and that's badass. You know what I mean? You're plugging in that serious to your recovery. But don't judge where they're at versus where you're at and beat yourself up or think that you're not doing it right. Everybody is on their own path and their own journey, right? And so once I started listening to those, like I said, I flipped that coin over. I started listening to the same kind of people, but they weren't committing crimes, and they weren't gangbanging, and they weren't selling drugs, and they weren't getting high, and they looked happy, and they looked healthy, and they were loving themselves and others, and they were carrying themselves with integrity and honesty and respect for themselves and others. All things that I wanted my whole entire life. I just didn't know how to have or achieve or receive or perceive or give back to somebody else. And I wanted what they had, so I started winning with the stickers. So I did sober living for 2 years. In that time, I got a sponsor. I became the house manager of a men's sober living house, and I just started doing. That's what they call them suggestions. But for me, if you give me a suggestion, you're leaving it open to me to decide what I want to do, and if it's up to me, I'll fuck shit up. So I call it same. Yeah. Don't pat me. I don't need to be pat on the ass. Don't pat me on the ass and give it to me soft, because I don't learn that way. I never did.
Same.
Yeah.
You got to slap me a couple of times because you give me what you think is a suggestion and not a requirement, and it's going to go through my mind. I'm going to filter it 500 different ways to where I come out smelling like a rose. You know, I'm gonna twist it and turn it, or better yet, I used to as an alcoholic. I would twist it and turn it to where I got my way to where I had was able to drink.
Yeah, for sure. Do it our way because we're left to our own devices to do the way we want it, right? So I call it doing what Narcotics Anonymous has told me to do. If Narcotics Anonymous told me to get a sponsor and call that sponsor, I called my sponsor. He had me call him every day for 30 days, and if I missed a day, I restarted. I restarted about 4 times, and I finally got tired of restarting, so I set an alarm to go off on my phone every day at 4 o'clock, and I never missed a check-in after that, right? And then he said, read the first 107 pages of our literature. So I did what I was told. And it was so powerful reading that book. And mind you, like, I was never big into reading in school or writing. Unless I was locked up, then I would read Louis L'Amour's. Those are really good reads. They're old Western novels. But he had me read this book, and it was our basic text. And for the first time, now mind you, I'm going to meetings and I'm hanging out with other addicts, and I'm like, these people get it. They get it. They understand, and I'm starting to not feel alone, right? But then I read this literature, and I'm just by myself. I'm not around anybody else. I'm in my room, and I'm reading this literature, and it really sunk in, and it really sunk in. Like, holy shit! The people that wrote this book for me. Like, the people that wrote this book understand me. They understand the way I think, why I do what I do, and
they are my people.
Yeah, there we go. That's my tribe right there, right? And and so when it came to time to work steps, I was like, yeah, I'll let you know when I'm ready. And by the grace of God, I went through some learning experiences that taught me the value and the importance of practicing the how part of the program, honesty in all aspects of our lives, right? And I got to a point in early recovery, I sat with myself and I was like, holy shit, dude, you're living in addict behavior right now. If you keep going this way, you're going to have a bag of dope in your pocket and a pipe in your hand. So I called my sponsor and says, I'm ready to start working my steps. And I'm grateful for that moment in my recovery, because that's what pushed me to get out of my own way to start working my steps. And ultimately, working the 12 steps of a program of recovery has, through going through treatment and addressing the things in treatment that we work through on me, plus I'm on step 11 right now, and working my steps has been the healing process that my inner child's been neglected for so long, right?
And something, some people, and I say some people, and what I mean by that is, you know, we relapse mentally before anything else, before any youth. We relapse in our mind. So at least you recognized it and was like, hey, let me get on these steps.
Yeah.
You know?
I did. I took that awareness and did the next right thing for my recovery, right? Instead of like, oh, well, thinking I could self-will it where I can clean this up and thinking I'll somehow learn from this mistake or behavior that I've never learned that way before in all the history of my life. So instead of trying to repeat the pattern of like, oh, I'll learn from this and do it better next time or won't get caught, whatever, right? I did the next thing for my recovery and called my sponsor and got honest with what was going on in my life. So basically I was sharing clean and living dirty in early recovery. Because I thought that all that mattered is as long as my clean date's honest and my share at a meeting is honest and I'm honest about whether I want to get loaded or not in that moment. I thought that's all that mattered and that's all that needed to look like. And everything else outside of that meeting is separate. I thought the two were separate. This is early recovery. I'm a newcomer, right? And like the relapse, you guys, starts long before we put the chemical or substance in our body. The relapse starts long before that. We put the chemical in our body. The chemical going into our body is the last step of the relapse.
Yep.
So
and
I started.
That is something that a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
You know, oh, well, I'm not drinking, I'm not using, but.
And then, I hear people say, oh, relapse is part of recovery. No, it's not, you guys. Relapse is not part of recovery. Relapse is a lack of recovery. I'm what you and Kathy would call a one-chip wonder. And by no means necessary am I invincible to a relapse because I'm a one-chip wonder. By no means necessary am I cured because I'm a one-chip wonder. I gave 25 years of my life working very hard to feed my addiction. I'm going to spend the rest of my life working very hard to feed my recovery, and whatever that has to look like, whatever that gets to look like, whatever that's going to look like, through an honest program of recovery, I'm going to feed my recovery with that. That's why we're that's why we're doing this live today, right, guys? I just started plugging into the recovery community down here in Southern Utah, and they loved me until I could love myself, right? Like, another huge thing for me, right?
I only knew how many times I've said that phrase the past weekend. I'm gonna love you until you love yourself.
And we say it because it's true.
That because
it sounds cliche, and it is cliche, but there's so much truth and power in those statements.
There is, because Lord knows I didn't love myself.
I mean,
at all.
I feel like our time is running out, and I wish we could go longer because we haven't even gotten to. I sent you some interview questions that I use for my own platform when I interview people. I was hoping we get into some of those questions because really, yes, you're interviewing me from your platform, but this ain't about us, you guys. This is about us as a recovery community as a whole, right? Like, we can't do this alone, and no addict should ever go through recovery alone, ever. If we're alone, we're with the last person we got loaded with, and that's a dangerous place.
That's
this is about you guys today.
Yeah, but think about this. You know, you have now. You called me the other day, and you were excited because you had, you know, a new opportunity come up, and just the excitement in your voice, like whenever you called and you were like, "Guess what, Kathy?" See, stuff like that is whenever you do lose that little bit of hope and you think, I can't do it, you are a perfect example of, you know, hold on, let me show you how it's done. Because your story just from a young age and going through a lot of stuff to where you are now. It's like if you could do it, anybody can, as you put it.
Yeah,
You
this
know,
use Hope to Die Dope Fiend can be a Live for Hope and Hope to Live recovering addict. That's a productive member of society. Like my life is beautiful today. I haven't made $1 million and gone to Hawaii yet. Both those things would be nice, but ultimately, like my life is beautiful today because I'm not waking up dope sick. I'm not on the side of the road with a flag and a sign for money to get another bag of dope. Like my life is beautiful because I get to wake up today, enjoy a cup of coffee, and go to work. I get to earn an honest dollar. I'm not making dirty money selling drugs. I get to come home to a beautiful, loving wife who has supported me from day one in my recovery. And I have a healthy, beautiful relationship with another woman that's not toxic because I'm being a piece of shit because I don't know how to treat others because I don't know how to treat myself. And I have a nice 3-bedroom home. And all these things. I mean, these material things don't mean shit because they don't go with us. When we die, these things are all borrowed. We're on borrowed time, and I want to make the most of I have left of my borrowed time. Yes, these things are nice, but I wouldn't have them if it wasn't for the program of recovery. I wouldn't have them if I wasn't working on myself and my recovery, right? Like, because I would have no money in my pocket because I would be spending on drugs at the drug dealer's house. Because I'm not doing that, I have some money in my pocket, you know what I mean? Where we can take our e-bikes to go ride them up in Zions and go hiking, or we can go and do stuff with our friends. Like yesterday, we had the coolest day. We drove like an hour and 20 minutes up to Pipe Springs, Arizona on some Indian reservation, and it was an Indian powwow. Yeah, it was an Indian powwow with drum circles and just them celebrating their culture. And it was so beautiful to be there in that moment and see all those vibrant, beautiful colors of all the artwork they do from their outfits for the ceremonial dances to the beaded necklace and stuff. Like I got this tiger's eye bracelet that I got there
cool.
at that powwow. If I wasn't in recovery working a program, I wouldn't have the $40 to spend on this bracelet. I would have spent that money on a bag of dope.
See, now you and I, other people in recovery, our big life problems is, am I going to run out of, am I going to have enough coffee tomorrow? Do I really need cream? Basic people problems, not, oh my God,
My friend,
do I have enough to last me till in the morning?
my friend Tyson, love this guy to death. He's one of the men in recovery that I value, that speak into my life, that I let speak into my life. And all that really means, you guys, is that I'm open-minded and willing and teachable when this man speaks, right? Because I could be ignorant and tune you out and just be fucking, ignorant and arrogant, right? Yo, Ninja, what's up? Thank you for joining. But ultimately, because I'm open-minded and teachable, and this guy has what I want in life, not the big house or the car or his own business. He has spiritual aspects about himself that can't be begged, borrowed, or stolen or bought.
Thank you.
He speaks into my life, and I just lost where I was going. Shit. Anyways,
Money cannot buy what we have now.
right. Oh, so back to that. Back to that. Am I gonna run out of coffee? Do I have this or that? He calls those first world problems, right? First
world problems. Okay, so you taught me that, and I taught you the GSR.
Yeah. I forget. I keep forgetting what GSR means. I keep wanting to call it gratitude, service, and recovery.
Guilt, shame, and remorse.
Guilt, shame, and remorse. There we go.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
first
even with some
world
time-
problems. Yeah, that's good. I like that. I'll have to write that down.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tyson.
Yeah, even with some clean time, guys, I could still get stuck in that GSR, right? Like, these last 2 years, Kathy, have been pretty rough 2 years. Like, I'm going through a court thing with my kids to get my kids back in my life because my ex-wives have not been very receptive to me coming around, which I don't blame them. You right?
Right.
You guys, for a very long time, all my ex-wives know is Sheldon's a drug dealer. He hangs out with gang members, and he's a drug addict and commits crimes. And I've told them plenty of times before, oh, forgive me, this time's going to be different. This time's going to be different, I promise. And I wanted that time to be different, you guys, but I didn't know how to make it different moving forward because I wasn't working a program of recovery. And so they haven't been very receptive to this reunification process with my kids. It's been painful. My kids were caught in the crossfire of my addiction, and thank God for Narcotics Anonymous and the recovery community and the steps, because those steps taught me how to be accountable to that. It taught me how to respect my daughter's truth and her boundaries. And the steps have gave me the ability to have a healing process. Shout out to Heather. Heather, thank you for joining us.
Sorry, guys, I'm having to. Okay,
You all right there, Kathy?
slide something. Yeah, there we go. I had to slide something to keep continuing.
We just had Heather join us. Shout out to Heather. Thank you for tuning in.
Hey, Heather.
But the 12 steps of Narcotics Anonymous and the recovery community, like the steps taught me how to be accountable, and it gave me a healing process to set down that shame and guilt and remorse or the shame,
And the 12
the guilt,
steps
shame,
can be
and
from anything.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kathy.
You can use the 12 steps for anything. You know, every anonymous is based off of, you know, the OG. And there's plenty. There's Overeaters Anonymous. There's so many different anonymouses. And the basic steps are off the OG, you know?
Yeah.
And you can 12-step your mental health, your overeating, you know, stuff like that. You just have to be willing.
Mm-hmm. I think
You have
I think normies could use
normies. Yeah, that's what I
think
call
everybody could use working a round of 12 steps with somebody who's been through it before them, right?
Yes.
And like how you said, you can do the 12 steps on anything, right? Like when I'm on step 11, as soon as I finish this round of steps, I'm going to be doing my next round of steps on behaviors, right? Because even though I got 5 years clean and I'm of service, I do H&I. It's hospitals and institutions. We take meetings into places that can't regularly attend them, like the jail, treatment centers, youth detention centers, stuff like that, you guys. And I sponsor other men. I'm doing all these wonderful, beautiful things I've never done in my life, working a program of recovery, but I still have these character defects that get in my way that are keeping me sick and keeping me from growing.
And that does, whenever you start doing those other meetings at other places, you know, you're doing something that, to be quite frank with you, some people are scared to do.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that's like, nope, I'm not doing a jail meeting. I'm not doing, you know, and I'm like, put me in.
Shout out to Joe Mack. Joe Mack, thank you for joining.
Hi.
Yeah, it's cool to go out to the jail because that's really full circle for my story, because going to jail, only time I ever go to jail is in handcuffs in the back of a cop car through the back door, getting booked in, right? And today I get to walk through the front door of the jail and get a visitor badge put on, and I get to take a 12-step meeting into this jail and carry a message of hope to these people that are not able to get out and get to one, right? People that could use one. And my sponsor actually does that commitment, and he takes me out there with him from time to time. And man, how powerful is that? Like going from locked in shackles in a cop car, going through the back door of a jail to get booked in, to going through the front door with a visitor badge to carry a message of hope. Like, if you would have told this dope fiend over 6 years ago that I'd be doing that with my life today, I would have looked at you and laughed and so you got the wrong person. That's not me.
Right.
But that is me today because of a program of recovery. Man, these last 2 years, like I was trying to tell you, Kathy, these last 2 years have been pretty tough. And these last 2 years, I haven't wanted to get high. The promise of freedom that the program I work offers, there's only one promise, and that's the promise of freedom from active addiction. That's what the only promise my program offers, or the program I work offers. And I've experienced that freedom in my life today. And like, I'm an addict who likes to use for effect, right? Yo, Fatu, what's up? Thank you for joining. I'm an addict who likes to use for effect to change the way I feel, right, Kathy? And going through this reunification process with my kids has been very, very painful. My kids were caught in the crossfire of my addiction and the 12 steps and have taught me how to be accountable to my actions in active addiction. The 12 steps have allowed me to start setting down that guilt and that shame and that regret, so it's not so heavy to carry because that shit's suffocating you guys. Tuna Mafia Recovery, shout out to you. Thank you for joining.
Hey, Tuna.
And I haven't wanted to use in these last 2 years, but I definitely haven't wanted to be in my own skin because I've been in that much pain and I've been depressed. And these last 2 years I owe to Narcotics Anonymous and the recovery community because it's given me a safe place to go to share where I'm at. It's given me a healthy community to hang out with when I needed to get away from myself, right?
Right.
It's allowed me to stay. I've stayed plugged in. You guys stay plugged in no matter what. Like, I'm an addict who wants to use for effect to change the way I feel through a 12-step program of recovery and a recovery community has given me the tools and resources to go through hard things and not get high over them, right, guys? Before I couldn't go through hard things in life without getting loaded. And today I'm going through a hard chapter with my kids and getting back in their life. And because of the recovery community and the 12-step program of recovery, like, yo, Tuna Mafia, 5,601 days sober. That's what's up, my boy. Keep grinding, keep climbing, keep fighting. We do recover. But because of a 12-step program of recovery, Kathy, when I'm hurting inside, what was that?
The 12 steps is possible. You
Yeah,
know, it like,
absolutely. So I've been hurting, right? I've been telling you how I'm hurting. Instead of putting a chemical in my body, Kathy, to change the way I feel, I dig into my step work to change the way I feel by working on myself, right?
yeah.
I show up to my service commitments so I don't get stuck up here, right?
That's the most dangerous place in the world. It's in between your ears.
Oh, yes, it
That's
is.
the most dangerous place in the world. And also, Sheldon, Tuna has got a really good following. And Tuna
Really?
yes, Tuna, Sheldon, y'all meet. I try to
Formerly known as
join.
Anonymous.
Yeah, I try to join he's got a really good meeting, and I try to join it as often as I can,
Okay.
just to listen. But back to your story, I just wanted to introduce y'all since you.
You're good. I feel like I'm holding this live interview hostage. So please share.
No. We went over, but you know what? It's all good. It's all good
Yeah, we
because
got people
there's
tuning
people
in.
listening.
Is that Ferret Mitchell? Shout out to Ferret Mitchell. Thank you for joining. If I chopped that up, I apologize.
And
Yeah.
guys, I can't see your names because again, my glasses are not. These are not my regular glasses, so I can't read the screen. I do apologize, but to everybody, thank you.
Justin Owen, thank you for tuning in. Shout out to you. I think that's the Justin Owen in my area. What's up, my boy? If not, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Yeah. So, I mean,
Well, there's only one thing we have to change in order to stay clean and sober.
what is
And
that?
that one thing is everything.
That's right. Tell him, sister. Everything. We just got to change one thing, and that's everything, baby.
Everything.
Yeah. And that's what I've done. Ultimately, that is what I've done. I've changed my people, places, and things. I worked in the 12 steps to change my behaviors, right? Because what happens is, if we think what we always think, I'm gonna mess it up. But if we think what we always think, then we're gonna feel how we always felt. And if we feel how we always felt, then we're gonna do what we've always done. And if we do what we always
have to
done,
change the playgrounds, the playmates, and the playthings. And, if we hang out in a barbershop long enough, we'll get a damn haircut.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
it's simple things that
yeah,
people say, "Oh, well, you can't do this because it reminds you that." No, it's just I'm doing, I'm keeping my guard up for my sobriety. I protect it. I
yeah,
don't do stuff to jeopardize it. And if that means, hey, I got to push you to right over here. I got to put that boundary up. Some people get their feelings hurt, but at the end of the night, I'm going to sleep sober.
yeah. And it's not that
And
we don't.
that's
It's not that we
all
don't
I
love
can
you.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not that
love
we
you.
don't love you.
It's
It's
just
just
that.
we
Yeah,
have to love ourselves a little
yeah,
bit more.
yeah.
You
And
know?
it's not even a selfish thing. Even though you'll hear be selfish with your recovery, and that's what it sounds like you're doing. Mohammed, thank you for joining us. Welcome. Um, we have to be selfish with our recovery, and it's not selfish with our recovery because we don't love you or don't value you. It's just what you're doing at that time and place isn't healthy for us and our new way of life,
Right.
or and we have to learn to love others from a distance, right? And that gets to be okay,
Right.
because we worked hard to get where we're at. And again, it's not like we don't love you and we're being selfish and we want nothing to do with you. It's we have to protect what we have because we worked so hard to get it. Because like
We
for me,
work
it took me
fucking
20.
hard as shit to stay clean and sober. And we
Nikki,
are all
welcome. Yeah, Nikki,
hi,
welcome.
Nikki.
Thank you for joining. Yeah, no, like I spent 20. It took me 25 years to find my way home into the rooms of recovery, and I'm not about to put that at risk with someone who's making unhealthy lifestyle choices.
Right.
But I'm definitely not going to shoot my wounded either. Like, if you're willing and ready to go to a meeting, I'll pick you up. When you're ready to do the work,
Want
I'm
to
going
go
to
to
work with
rehab?
everybody.
If you want to go to rehab, you need to ride to rehab. I'm your girl. You want to ride to a meeting? I'm your girl.
Yeah.
Besides that, I'm not your girl. You know. I mean, that's just, and that's what I've had to tell people whenever I've put those boundaries up. I will be here for you if you want to ride to AA. Or to a meeting. Sorry, did not mean to say that. If you want to ride to rehab, I'll get up in the middle of the night and drive across the world to come get you if I have to.
Yeah.
You know?
We can only keep what we have by giving it away, right? But here's the thing about that, right, Kathy, is we can't pour from an empty cup, you guys. There's
Right.
nothing to pour out of. I got nothing in there to pour out of, right? How am I going
Right.
to fill somebody else's cup if my cup is empty?
Exactly.
That's why I got to invest I got to invest my time and my energy into my recovery with the same amount of focus that I gave my addiction, so I can fill my cup up, so I have something to give away.
Right.
We can only keep what we have by giving it away. Female tie-in, thank you for joining us. Welcome. We can only keep what we have by giving it away, but if we're not putting in the effort to fill our cup, we can't pour from an empty cup. We have nothing to give away.
Right.
So we gotta show up to the meetings. We gotta show up to be of service.
Meeting makers make it.
Yeah, that's an old saying back in the day. The old timers used to use is "win with the stickers." Now it's stick with the winners.
Ah.
You know what I mean? But when you think about it,
Yeah.
win with the stickers. Win with those who are sticking around. Win with those who are
Yeah.
sticking around and working a program. And that ultimately, that's what I've done. And it sounds like that's what you've done too, Kathy. And it fucking
Yeah.
works. It fucking works because
It fucking
what's
works.
going on out there isn't working, right? When I walk into a meeting and I see a meeting packed with 100 plus addicts, without even a word being spoken, the message of hope that I see that resonates with me is that it's not working out there, but in this room full of 100 plus addicts or alcoholics, it's working in here. That's the message of hope that I see when I see a meeting house packed.
That's the difference. And
Yeah.
you can go into a room and just you feel home no matter if you're in, Georgia, Utah. Right now I'm in what state? I'm in North Carolina. You know, I can walk into any meeting and I'm home. I'm with my people. I'm with my people that know what I've been through. We have a shared experience. We don't care about who has more money or who has this or who. Nobody really gives a shit because at the end of the day, you can't take it with you. You know, my peace, my serenity, and my sobriety is worth more than anything that any money can buy. It's a pure happiness.
Absolutely.
And I find that in my fellow addicts and alcoholics.
I like what you said about no matter where you go, you know, basically what I heard was no matter where you're at and you go to a meeting outside of your area, the literature is going to be the same. The program's going to be the same. The readings will be the same. The format, how they do it might be a little bit different. And I hear a lot of people in my area talk about they, moved out of this area and recovery wasn't the same for them. Honey, 1963, thank you for joining. Welcome. They say that when they moved out of this area, their recovery wasn't the same. I mean, I don't have any personal experience of moving out of this area and trying to do recovery somewhere else. But when I've gone to meetings outside of my area, what I have found is no matter where I went to another meeting, whether it was down in Vegas or in Salt Lake City, Utah, the program was still the same. It was just different faces, different community. And each community is going to be different. Like down here in Southern Utah, the recovery community is really tight, you guys. If you get a chance to come down here to Southern Utah, I'm in St. George, come hit a meeting. Message me on TikTok. We'll link up. We'll go get some coffee. We'll go hit a meeting. The recovery community down here in Southern Utah is so badass. We put on a recovery convention every year in June. There's a recovery event going on all year long. It might be a couple months from one event to the other, but like in September, there's going to be a men's camp out, right? I know there's a women's retreat coming up here soon, a women's camp out coming up here soon. I just went up to Cedar City. It's 45 minutes north of St. George, Utah. And it was the Cedar City Fellowship up there. And they were putting on a barbecue in the park and we were playing volleyball and we had a speaker. And it was rad. It's what life is about, right? Getting out, being a part of a community, enjoying life. And I played volleyball and I did what I like to call right now, Kathy, this chapter in my life right now is all about unlocking my inner child and letting my inner child come out and play, the one I've neglected for so long, right? And I went out and I let my inner child come out and play, and I played volleyball, ate some hot dogs, and listened to a speaker, and it was the coolest 2 hours of my life, right?
Yeah.
Where are we at with some of those questions I gave you?
Well, we was talking about incarceration. We already done that part.
Yeah, we've done all that. Yeah, we're past all that.
Yeah. So, all right. If you had some advice.
Sam, thank you for joining. User 917 and some other numbers. Thank you for joining and welcome.
So, advice. Advice for the newcomer.
Advice from the newcomer.
Advice to the newcomer.
Well, first, I want to let you know that a new way of life is very much possible. It is real. It is tangible. It is achievable. But if you think you're going to sit on your hands in a meeting and do nothing and not putting in any work, this new way of life doesn't happen by osmosis, right? And if you think you're just going to go to a meeting and only do meetings and sit on your hands and do no work, and ultimately you'll never use again, and life is ultimately going to get better with no problems, I'm here to tell you that you're wrong. That
you got to put in the work.
Yeah.
You can't just show up and sit there and listen and.
Well, and we want you to show up and we want you to listen, but there's so many moving parts to recovery. And each one of those moving parts need to be working together with each other, and those gears need to be oiled on a regular basis so they work with each other, not against each other. and it,
You
it
know, there's
takes all of.
so you have to. You can't just show up, listen, and then cafeteria style pick apart what you want. You have to
Yeah,
give it all away. You have to surrender that, and you have to work. It is. It's more than just showing up. You know, there's so much
yeah.
more. There's a lot of work that has to be done, but at the end, you see, Sheldon, perfect example. Uh, You know, look at where he was. How many years ago was it, Sheldon?
Oh, oof. How many years? I was in
Whatever
active
you
addiction for 25 years.
Yeah. So I
Yeah,
mean, it works, but the only difference is this time he was willing. You know,
yeah.
he knew he was powerless. I'm ready. You know, and that's what it takes. And you know, you said advice to give to him, and
I mean, and another thing,
what is
guys,
your
like,
one
yeah, pick up
thing?
the pen. eh, I want to
Yeah.
add to that real quick before we jump to the next one. Pick up the
Mm-hmm.
pen and put in the work, you guys. There's magic in the writing, you guys. Um, and there are going to be some days that showing up is all that you can do for that day, and that gets to be okay. But don't let that be your everything. Don't just let showing up be that's all you do. My experience from what I've seen in my area, the people that just show up and don't put any work, they don't last very long. And it's not that they weren't worthy of recovery, because recovery is for everyone, and unfortunately, not everyone gets it. So please pick up the pen, get a sponsor, pick up the phone, call someone if you're struggling. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
get a sponsor. Be willing to pick the pen up and work on yourself, because there's magic in the writing. And but if there's going to be hard days that you're going to go through where showing up is all you're capable of doing, and that gets to be enough, but don't let that be the only thing that you do for your recovery. Um,
Right, right, absolutely. You got to put the work into it, and you know, pen to paper, like you said, the old school. So many people, oh well, can just old school.
and
Um,
don't get me wrong, Kathy. There's so many different ways to recover. Like, by no means, you guys, I am not a gatekeeper. I am not him, and I am not it, and she is not her, and she is not it. We are not gatekeepers. That
nope.
there's more than one way to recover, but for that alcoholic, it sounds like the only thing that's worked for her is AA and those 12 steps, and for this addict, the only thing that's worked for me is NA and those 12 steps, and that's the only thing that's helped me put 5 years together. Everything else never worked. There's many ways to recover. Whatever
Oh
works for
yeah,
you,
yeah.
whatever.
Whatever you, whatever it takes to get you to go to bed sober and wake up sober and not use or drink or
Yeah,
use or do anything in between A to B, then keep doing it, boo. You
yeah,
know, I have friends who just read. Uh they're not necessarily spiritual. They just believe, and that's okay. It's kept them sober.
mm,
Good.
yeah,
Whatever program you use. I just know for me, I have to be in a room at least X amount of times a week. I have to be of service. You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
as many times as I don't want to go to that jail and go sit in that smelly ass place, I go. You know, I
yeah.
mean, it smells like a bag full of feet
Bag full of
in that
buttholes.
place.
Yeah,
And, you know,
I know what the
I
smell
go
smells
right
like.
at dinner time and I'm sitting there going, oh my God, you know, and I'm not naming any jails. I'm not throwing it, no
Yeah,
jails. I'm not going to name them, but, I'm sitting there going, shit. I'm, I'm fortunate that I have only spent a few hours in a place like that.
yeah,
Um, long time
um,
ago. Uh, but that is a reminder of where I could have been
yeah,
because I done a bunch of shit that I probably should have been, but just didn't get caught. But if I go back out and I'm out drinking and driving like an idiot, that's where I'm going to end up.
hmm
That's where I'm going to end up. And so I go there every week to remind me, don't fucking do nothing stupid. Like
yeah,
relapse. Because you'll end up right here. You won't be carrying the message. You'll be them sitting at a table listening to it.
And I say this with the utmost respect to anybody that's gone back out. When I've witnessed people in my area go back out, it breaks my heart because I know what's out there on the other side of those doors or outside of that room that wants to kill us.
Mm-hmm.
And it breaks my heart, but it has been one of the biggest teachers of my recovery. Because when I watch another addict stop working a program that teaches them how to live a new way of life, and they go back out, it teaches me that if I stop doing what I've been doing this whole time, that's what I can expect out of my life. If I quit working with a sponsor, I quit sponsoring other men, and I quit being of service, I quit going to meetings, that what happened to them is what I can expect to happen to my life. And
I have never heard someone come up and say that they came back. They went out and they came back and everything was good.
Yeah, never heard that.
I've never heard that.
But they've been those individuals have been my greatest teachers, and I thank you. If you're watching this, I thank you for being this addict's teacher to teach me what not to do.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean I don't love you. It doesn't mean that you're not broken or you don't deserve recovery. It just means the way that you were doing it before didn't work. I love watching them come back too. I've never seen any person in my life have more courage and more strength than someone coming back and picking up that white key tag. To me, those are the real heroes of the program. You know what I mean? Like, I look up to my sponsor, and he's been a big hero in my life. But the biggest heroes, Edmar, welcome. Thank you for joining. The biggest heroes of my life and my recovery have been the people that come back and pick up that white key tag.
And that takes a lot for somebody. It takes a lot for a person, because there's a lot of people, they don't come back because they think they're going to be shamed for picking up that white chip, the surrender chip. No, honey. We just go love you some more.
Yeah.
We just go love you.
Yeah. Yes, we are. And any advice I'd give the newcomer? Give your recovery the same energy you gave your addiction. If you had all the time in the world to walk, however far you had to walk to get your next bottle, to get your next bag of dope. If you had all the time in the world when you didn't have a cell phone and you borrowed somebody else's phone to get a ride to go get a bag of dope or to go get a bottle, put that same energy into getting to a meeting. Put that same energy into calling another addict or alcoholic. Put that same energy into calling your sponsor. Sawa Dog Cherik, I don't know how to say it. I'm sorry, I don't want to chop it up, but welcome. Thank you for joining. Give your recovery the same amount of energy that you gave your addiction.
Right. So, what is the one lesson recovery has taught you that everyone else can benefit from?
The one lesson that has stuck out me to the most is the lesson I learned between year 4 and 5. And that was recovery does not or sobriety does not equal clean time. Clean time does not equal recovery, you guys. It doesn't matter how many years you have sober or clean. If you're not working a program, we can still do piece of shit things and make a mess of areas of our lives. And I learned that lesson this year. And I'm grateful for that lesson. A friend of mine that I worked at a treatment center with, such a spiritual giant, and he taught me how to look at it. This is happening for me, not to me. Because when I look at this is happening for me, then I can start finding the lesson to grow, so I can start growing, or I can learn what I need to learn from it, right? But when I'm stuck in the mindset that this is happening to me, then I'm woe is me on my pity pot, feeling sorry for myself. But when I apply this is happening for me, I can see the lesson that I'm to learn from that moment or that chapter. so I can keep growing, right? And I learned that clean time does not equal recovery, and it got me to start looking at how am I carrying myself in all aspects of my life, and does that reflect a program of recovery everywhere I go? And and I'm grateful that I stumbled backwards, you guys. Like I'm grateful I didn't stumble backwards into a relapse, and I truly believe that's because I've been working diligently at my recovery these last 5 years.
You really have. You have.
And,
You've worked very hard.
Thank you, Kathy.
And starting up your own thing and hey, it's great. It's great. And
really, the reason. Go ahead.
you really inspire me, with a lot of the stuff you say. We've taught each other a few things, the GSR, the hopeless, or I have it in my
Used to
phone.
live, hope to die, dope fiend.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
The one chip wonder, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, we taught each other a lot of stuff, and it's your story is such an inspiration. And I've told people, y'all go and listen to this guy and talk to him, and really just he could tell you some stories. And like I said, and this is out of your mouth. If you can do it, anybody can. If I can do it, anybody can.
Absolutely.
And it's just a matter of
Like
being willing to do it.
Yeah. It takes a level of willingness. If we found ways and means to get more, to get high and stay high, we need ways and means to get more recovery in our life. Same energy, guys. Same energy, right? Like recovery never promised an easy, smooth ride. We don't get into recovery, and just because we stop getting loaded and get into recovery, we're not perfect people. We don't become perfect individuals. We're just human beings being human out here raw dogging life without substances to fix our problems, which they never did.
Right.
We're going to have moments where we stumble, where we fall down and scrape our knee, right? And it's what I like to call recovery currency, Kathy. I got this from a friend of mine off his podcast. Shout out to the 4-Step Podcast. They call it recovery currency, right? Like the amount of work that we're putting into our recovery today, who knows what's going to happen tomorrow or the day after that. But if I'm putting work into my recovery today, as something unfortunate happens down the road, I can cash in on that recovery currency, right? And
That's a good one.
that
I
lesson-
like that. We're going to have to follow them.
that lesson that you asked, what has recovery taught me? Recovery has taught me that this healing process is not going to be easy. It's going to be some pain in there, but it's also going to be some beautiful growing and healing taking place, right? It's also taught me that clean time doesn't equal recovery. And then through that lesson, I stumbled backwards, you guys. I didn't stumble backwards into a relapse. I stumbled backwards into some behaviors that were not healthy for my forward progression in life. And I was able to cash in on that recovery currency that I've been putting away in my internal bank account. And
Nice. I like that.
that stumbling backwards helped me push me forward through my healing process and through my growing process and through my maturing process, right? Thank you for joining and logging in and plugging in with us. Thank you. I don't know how to pronounce your name. It's in foreign letters. But regardless, it doesn't matter where you're from. We love you. Thank you for plugging in into this message of hope. So that's what recovery's taught me, Kathy, is we both know it doesn't matter your age, race, sexual identity, creed, religion, or lack of religion. The disease of addiction doesn't care about any of those things. If it wants to get you by the throat, it will get you by the throat.
It don't check your credit score.
No.
It doesn't. It just boom. It doesn't give a shit. It does
doesn't.
not discriminate.
What else you got from them?
All right. Well, my phone is getting dangerously low because we went a little over, but it's okay.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of people join in, and I wanted to keep it going. So I want to do a rapid fire thing. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let me get these glasses off, and maybe I can see it. All right. Coffee or energy drinks?
A little bit of both. In early recovery, I used to drink a bunch of energy drinks and coffee all the time. I was caffeine crashing a lot, and I started to notice how codependent I was becoming on those things, and I've started taking my health a little more serious. And I don't drink coffee or energy drinks as much as I used to. And I mean, when I used to drink them a lot, I mean like a lot, Kathy. And I got tired of not having that all natural physical energy. So like I drink them a little bit, not a lot, but I like both. I like to have a white girl coffee. Like, hey girl, I want a sweet tasty coffee. Yeah.
Yeah, I know somebody exactly like that.
I mean, don't get me wrong, fellas. Don't get me wrong. I can drink that coffee black too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. I tell you, it's kind of funny you talk about I have never tasted an energy drink. Never. I've never had one.
Good. Don't start. At any point, don't start.
Never had one.
If you never had one, more power to you, sister.
Yes. Morning person, night
Jenny
out.
24, thank you for joining. I'm a morning person, but I just switched jobs where I was working at Grave at my last job. And so like I'm kind of a night person now. Plus I like to shoot a lot of my content downtown at night. Underneath some of the city building lights. It makes for great landscape. A great architectural backdrop at night. But I'm more of a morning person. Like I used to live for a very long time smoking meth and up all night. I'm trying to be awake during normal people hours, doing normal people shit, like cutting my grass, going to work. You know what I mean? Taking my wife out to a restaurant when we had the money to go, because the restaurants aren't open at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and I sure as hell got no business running around town 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Very seldomly, very seldomly, I'll work that late door dashing. Very seldomly.
Right.
It just kind of depends, right? Like today, I got up early. I rounded up a bunch of my sponsees, and we went to this all men's meeting, and then we did a literature study after, right? Yeah. Actually, I woke up and saw your message. You didn't wake me up.
Yeah, because I was
Yeah. I was still waking up when I called you.
Yeah. All right.
Yo, the queen. Thank you for joining.
Favorite recovery slogan? I already know this.
Don't leave 5 minutes. Don't leave 5 minutes before the miracle, for sure.
Yep.
That's my favorite recovery slogan. Just because, again, it sounds cliche, but
it's
you
true.
just take the con out of your ears and put it in your mouth and listen to what is being said. Don't leave 5 minutes before the miracle is so true. Don't walk out of the meeting before you give it a chance to hear that message of hope. Don't walk out before you give people a chance to know you. Because you'll find out when you listen that somebody's going to share your story and have either been where you're at currently at this time or have gone through it and survived it.
Survived it. That's the
You'll
thing.
find that there's so many me toos in recovery. Don't leave 5 minutes before you find your me toos. Don't leave 5 minutes before that seed of hope has been planted.
No.
So that for me, that's my favorite saying.
All right. Biggest blessing in recovery.
Biggest blessing in recovery. I'm not a live to use and hope to die dope fiend anymore, you guys. Like I said, I'm a live for hope and hope to live. Like, biggest blessing is that I'm able to show up. I'm present in my life. I'm present in other people in my life. I'm present for them too. Like, I was never present before. The biggest blessing in my life are the simple things that I have today, right? Like, would I love to go to Hawaii? Yeah, sure. But ultimately, the biggest blessing in my life is I wake up with some money in my pocket. I'm not chasing my next bag of dope. I wake up I'm in a home and not homeless. I wake up and go to a job and make an honest dollar instead of selling drugs and making dirty money. Um, my life today is just the biggest blessing ever, seriously, because I never thought I would live a life like this. It's the life I prayed for and never thought it was achievable because I didn't believe it. So it was unbelievable. This new way of life is just unbelievable to me. So just what I have today, the simple things are
with our
biggest
first
blessing.
world problems, right? Is that correct?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
first
yeah,
world
yeah.
problems. Okay. All right.
That's
So
correct.
my last one.
Yeah, it's like when somebody gets a flat tire.
Yeah.
Well, the first world problem is like someone gets a flat tire and complains about it. Well, be grateful that you're in a place in your recovery where you can get that tire fixed when you got the money to do it, or can do it, because there's someone out there in another country that doesn't have those means possible to do that, right? And as well as if you're out there in active addiction, the last thing you're worried about is fucking fixing a tire, or how to fix a tire, or the money to buy a new tire. And so that's what that means when we talk about first world problems. You know what I mean? Just being grateful for what
Right.
we have and the simple things of it.
Yeah. All right. So my last question.
Okay.
All right. What's something people would never guess about you?
That I used to skateboard and snowboard back in the day. Okay. I've never seen the ocean, you guys. I don't know how to surf. I want to learn how to surf. I used to be able to ride a skateboard when I was younger, and I can snowboard. I want to see if I can. I want to go see the ocean and learn how to surf. That's the only board I haven't rode. Haven't been to California. Haven't seen the ocean.
Wow. So whenever me and my friend come up to Utah and stay with you and your wife, and we go to, do the Indian thing, and you and your wife come down to Georgia and stay with me, maybe we can make a quick trip down to Florida, and you see the ocean.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, and
I'm over here
sometimes
thinking, well, how far is Florida from Georgia?
not too bad. Not too
No?
bad.
Okay. Okay.
Nah. We could get there in 6 hours. If my friend over here is driving, we could get there in 5.
I could
I'm
probably, well,
just
if I'm
joking.
driving, I could probably get us there in 4 with maybe a couple tickets.
Well, all right. Well, Sheldon, unfortunately, my phone is going dead. It was fully charged whenever we started, but I do want to
Same here.
tell you thank you. Thank you for taking time out of your
Welcome.
Sunday. And I would love to do this
Absolutely.
again. And I would like to do this on a regular
Yes.
basis, get on a schedule of doing this
Okay.
because, I've learned about Tyson and you've learned about tuna and recovery. There's a lot of things that we could share. We'll probably end up seeing each other in one of these other rooms and be like, oh, hey, we're just
Yeah.
starting.
There's my
This
friend.
is just the start. This is just the
I love
start.
that.
That's
Start a
what I'm
beautiful
saying to me.
relationship.
Yes, this is just a start. And, I appreciate you being here. And I always, at the end of my podcast, I always say, if no one tells you today I love you, remember I do. And I do. I do love everyone. And if no one tells you today that they love you, we do. It's that simple. If you go to bed at night, just think, there's somebody out there that loves me. Whether you know that person or not, don't make a rat's ass. It doesn't matter if you know them. Just know that there's somebody out there with your story, and they're going to love you. They're going to love you until you
Yes.
can't love yourself.
Absolutely. And if there's one takeaway that I hope you guys take away from this today, is that recovery is possible, right? You're not too far gone. You are not too far broken.
Yep.
You are worthy of love. You are worthy of a beautiful, healthy, happy life. Um, You are worth
We do
putting in
recover.
the work too. Yeah.
We do recover. We do it out loud. We do it to where other people can do it too. All right, Sheldon, I am going to charge my phone and maybe go get a steak downstairs from Ruth Chris. I'm unsure where we're going to dinner. But I will hit you back up later as soon as my phone charges. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And everyone, please go like, share, subscribe. Go to Sheldon. Sheldon, give them your page info.
My page is Rising in Recovery.
Yes.
You can find it on TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. I'm on all major social media platforms. Just carrying the message of hope and the power of recovery, right?
Yep. Rise to recovery. Please. Y'all, thank y'all so much. Just for even coming in and just saying, hey, you know what? If we help one person today by what we've said, our job here is good. We're done. We're just done until the next time.
Yes.
And that's all we're trying to do is one person. If we help multiples, hey, kudos. But if we just do one, that's good too. All right. I love you, brother. And again, I'll charge my phone and I'll
We'll see you. Have a good night.
All right. Love you,
Hey,
brother.
call me.
And
Love ya.
I'll see everyone else later. Bye.